Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Brett Johnson. This is Cybercrime 101. We are live via LinkedIn, via Facebook, and on YouTube. So anyone who's out there watching, welcome. This show, hey, we're launching the show today. So I'm kind of green at launching this show. My name is Brett Johnson. This show is going to be a show where people could call in live and ask any question they've got about online crime, fraud, scams. If you think you're going through one, if you want to know how one operates, anything like that, you can call in. We'll talk through it, give advice, and tell you how to protect yourself, your family members, and your organization. So why should you listen to me? Well, I do have some credibility. My name is Brett Johnson. The United States Secret Service called me the original internet godfather. Now, I got that title, and those who have seen me speak before, you know I say this stuff all the time. I got that title because of 39 felonies, being placed on the United States Most Wanted list. I escaped from prison, but the big thing is I built and ran the first organized cybercrime community. It's called Shadow Crew. It's a precursor of today's dark web and dark web markets. It lays the foundation for the way modern cybercrime channels operate today. Now, how does it lay that foundation? Well, let's see. We've got a couple comments before I go into that. We have Linux-based Eskimo. Awesome. Hey, man. Thank you so much. Michael Semester, I was hoping you'd be here, man. Michael is in Utah. He is an outstanding human being. I've never met the man personally, but I do consider him my friend. And Michael, I'm coming to Utah this summer. So I'm going to see you, man. I promise you. Utah is my favorite state in the union. I've not been out there. Geez, it's 26. I think the last time I was out there was 2021. I love the state. I love the parks, everything else. I want to come through, spend 4 or 5 days in Utah and just go to the parks again and just sit there and take in the beauty more than anything. So I will be visiting you. So I'm responsible for so much cybercrime. Or, somewhat responsible. I built what's called the trust mechanism that cybercrime forums and marketplaces have been using and thriving by since that point in time. Now, what do I mean by that? In order for cybercrime to succeed, 3 things have to take place. You have to gather data, you have to then commit the crime, and then finally you have to be able to cash that crime out. All 3 of those necessities have to work in conjunction. If they don't, the crime fails. The problem was one single attacker can't do all 3 things. He can do one, sometimes 2, but not all 3. So he has to rely on network with individuals who can fill that gap. The problem is, before Shadow Crew comes into play, the problem was you really only had IRC to do that, Internet Relay Chat, this rolling chat board. You had no idea who you were talking to, if you could believe them, if they had a product or service, if they had it, if it worked, or if they were just going to rip you off because everyone there was a crook. Shadow Crew solves that problem with this trust mechanism. Now you had a large communication channel, forum type structure. Look at Dread over on the dark web. Forum type structure where individuals from different time zones could reference conversations, days, weeks, months. Take part in those conversations. Learn from those conversations. That's important. We had your name, like Gollum Fun was my name back when I was a criminal. Your name became your brand. It would absolutely travel with you to other forums and marketplaces when they started to pop up. You knew by looking at someone's screen name what that person had done, how reliable that person was. If that person knew what they were talking about or had ripped anyone off, you knew the history of that person. That mattered. We had vouching systems in place. We had review systems in place. We had escrow systems in place, all with that singular purpose of establishing trust with one criminal and another when you wouldn't know their name, you wouldn't know what they looked like, and you would never meet. That's what Shadow Crew establishes. Shadow Crew was the first, it was a precursor, so it was the first dark web type marketplace of its type. We sold everything. The only thing that we did not sell, I had 3 rules. The rules were no counterfeit currency. because I didn't want the Secret Service getting a hard-on for us. So no counterfeit currency, no child pornography, and no drugs. Now, the only thing that we ended up not selling was child pornography. Toward the latter days of Shadow Crew, we did, and even I partook in trafficking drugs, OxyContin, because back then, I don't know what it's going for now, but back then an OxyContin tablet was $1 a milligram. So an 80 milligram tablet cost you $80. My hometown, Hazard, Kentucky, became the capital of OxyContin use in the United States. Hazard, Kentucky. To give you an idea how big Hazard is, the entire county is 20 miles by 20 miles. That's it. And it became the capital of OxyContin use. So, and then we did engage in counterfeit currency. We had some of the super bills. So what is a super bill? The United States, in their infinite wisdom, decided that they were going to give Iran, Iran that we're bombing right now, they were going to give Iran intaglio printers. Not only Iran, but they were going to give Colombia, cocaine capital of the world, intaglio printers as well, so that they could print a secure currency. So what did these countries do once they had intaglio printers? That's the raised, you fill a bill, that raised print, that's intaglio. So what did they do when they got those printers that the United States uses to print currency on? Well, they started printing counterfeit U.S. currency. Who would have thought? So I established the trust mechanism that went on to be used in all of the cybercrime forums and in all of the the dark web marketplaces. Now, over the years, certainly things have been added to that trust mechanism. They absolutely have. You've got anything from encrypted messages to established escrow systems to what Drug Hub has over on their marketplace, where they don't hold your crypto. So they're trying to send the message that we are not an exit scam. There's tons of things that have been added to that over the years, but the basis of that trust mechanism is exactly as I described, and that still thrives today. I'm also responsible for a lot of the different types of scams and fraud and overall financial crime that is still alive today. It was me and these guys on Shadow Crew that figured out how to do these things. All right, so that credibility, at least from the criminal side, is there. Now, the other good part of that is that Brett Johnson, this guy right here, who used to rip off a lot of people, I've turned my life around. I was given that opportunity. Just before I got on the show. I run another show called The Brett Johnson Show. It's now become this show that's highlighting fraud and corruption and child predators in Eastern Kentucky. And it's become a very popular show. Right after that show, I had a call. The FBI called me during the show. After the call, I had a call with them regarding a lot of stuff that's going on down there. So the reason that happens is that I was able to turn my life around. And I'm very, very well respected in cybercrime, fraud prevention communities. I know what I'm talking about. And over the past 10 years, I've learned from the good side how to protect, how to mitigate the problems from the good side of doing these things. So this show has people making comments, calling in through WhatsApp or live on the phone, sending me emails, anything that you want to do, and we will discuss. You can come live on the show if you want to. We will discuss your issues and absolutely walk through how these crimes happen, what you need to do to prevent them. I've got, there's a gentleman by the name of Christopher Farley. He's a law enforcement officer down in South Florida. He does some outstanding work with fraud prevention and helping victims and giving advice. He will be coming on the show. We will have other people coming on the show as well that will talk through some scams, that will help answer questions, give advice. We are absolutely dedicated to protecting you from the type of attacker that I used to be. So let's check the messages real quick. All right, get a drink as well. Linux-based Eskimo. How to call 850 797-0155. That's my Google Voice number. So you want to call and get on right now, dude, dial and smile, and we will talk. All right. Let's see here. And on the next show, shows are shows are Wednesdays and Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central. Show's going to run for 30 minutes to an hour. This is the intro show, so we're a little green. I'm used to doing podcasts and what have you, but I'm not really used to this show. So you'll forgive me if it's a little awkward as we begin. All right. Let's see. Lennox, if you want to call Lennox, by all means, call. I can answer and we can talk right now on the show. That's how this is going to work. All right. If I don't know the answer, I'll look like an idiot, but I will then find out the answer and we can talk again. Okay. So I tend to know what most people are talking about or want to talk about. Some other information for you as this is the launch show. I said that it is never a single attacker which seeks to victimize you or your organization. It's always a group of people. And that's because of those three necessities that I had mentioned before: gathering the data, committing the crime, and then cashing that out. So gathering the data is the stolen. Please repeat. Didn't write down. So 850-797-0155. All right. You can call. Got the phone right here, dude. I'll talk to you right now, man. So, and if he calls, I'll interrupt what I was saying and we can talk to him. It's never a single attacker because of those three necessities. So gathering the data, that is stolen PII, personal information. That is any tool that you may need to launch the attack. So, think proxies, think SOC 5, think remote desktop protocols, think these things, stolen maybe a manufactured driver's license, whatever tool you need to then go off, launch the attack, and then finally cash that out. And when I say cash out, that can be information, access, data, or cash. All right. So if you understand that, then you start to understand that you're not fighting just one person. You're fighting a group of people. And today, cybercrime is the third largest economy on the planet. Third largest economy on the planet. You've got the United States, you've got China, and then you've got cybercrime. Let's see what we got here. It says subscriber not taking call. Dang nabbit, I don't want to give out my actual cell phone number. That is horrible. I don't know why that's happening. I will get that fixed. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Invite guest. How about in the comment section, we will put that there. You can click on that and you can immediately start talking to me, or you can even come on video if you want to, and we can see your face, whatever you want to do. All right. So you let me know. It should pop up and I should be able to allow you into the show if you want to do that. And I will get the phone numbers and everything. I thought Google Voice was going to work, but obviously not. So I will fix that by Saturday and we will continue. All right. If you want to come on the show now, there's a link in the comments section where you can click that link. You'll pop up in the little window, I hope, and I can add you and we can talk. If you don't want to come on camera, you don't have to come on camera. You can just have your pretty voice on there and we can do that. Now, it's never a single attacker because of those three necessities. Why can't one individual, one attacker, do all three things? Sometimes they can. It's not very common. Sometimes they can. But usually there's two reasons why they can't. And the first is a skill gap. That criminal, that attacker, simply doesn't know how to do one of those things. And that typically falls into the gathering the data. The tools, the stolen identities, the fake driver's licenses, the mimikatz, whatever. That falls into the gathering the data. So he lets the marketplace typically fulfill that need. He's not going to go out and get stolen credit card numbers. We got to call. All right.
David. To accept, press.
Hey, welcome to Brett Johnson Show. How are you?
Hello, sir. Yeah, my name is David, and I wanted to give you a shout out. I think what you've done on this channel is awesome, and but I wanted to, if you had a minute, I wanted to share my story.
No, absolutely.
I don't know if you saw my ex comment about my history in the '90s.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in the mid '90s, I got involved in a lot of drinking, gambling, and I met up with this person that he was printing cashier's checks at Kinko's, and I told him that I could do that. I'm pretty good on computers.
That's not too hard. Yeah.
I started to. What's that?
I said that's not too hard. You can definitely do that. I don't know if you know this or not, but that's exactly what I was arrested
back before
for.
internet really got big, and
Yeah.
so I would go there, and then I would do that, and then I got hooked into buying gold by mail, and then I got into buying Rolexes, using cashier's checks by mail and in person, and then I just got seriously into a lot of drugs and gambling and stuff. So basically, it was just a circular thing where I would just commit the crimes and then go to Reno because I was living in California at the time.
Yes, sir.
And then I just kept doing it and then buying cars with cashier's checks. And then I went into the DMV, and I had somebody's TRW because my friend had a connection there, and I memorized that person's info, and I went in there and I applied for a driver's license in this person's name, and I started doing this thing called identity theft that you mentioned, and it just whirlwinded into that to where I thought, like I was invincible until I got arrested in 1996 in the Glendale Galleria.
Right.
And they didn't have any laws on the books for what I was doing, but they gave me a bunch of other charges. And, and at that time, I didn't even think that it was a big deal until I was sitting in prison. And then they said I couldn't do this, that, and the other thing with computers and stuff. And when I got out, and I went to rehab like 4 years later. And now what I try to do is I try to help people, my friends and family members, with scams and stuff, and tracking people down. I don't do it as much as you do, but I just want to say that if there's any way that I could help out or do anything, because after 30 years of no crimes, the courts in California dismissed all my cases on that, so I don't have any of those charges. And I've been sober like almost 24 years, and I don't even get speeding tickets anymore. So
I tell you what, you do better than me on speeding tickets. That's my crime of choice these days. I like to go fast.
Oh yeah, me too. Yes, sir. But I'm really glad that you're doing what you're doing. I work in the tech communities too, so I got started at the internet tech support, and I do that, and that's what I still do today. And I try to help as many people as I can in the sobriety world and stuff, and letting them know.
Well, David, I want you to know, first of all, I'm proud of you for being sober for 25. That's outstanding. That truly is. So really, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm also proud of you of what you're doing and the work and everything. Let me ask you, when you got out of prison, and I mean, what you detailed, I mean, I ran some counterfeit cashier's checks. You outdid me, absolutely, buying cars and all that. When you got out, how hard was it? Because I assume you went back to the same people, places, and things.
I did, yeah. I was getting right back into doing that.
Right.
I actually went out to a location, and then something. I believe it was God who was saying like, "Hey, it's not a good idea." And I called my friend and said, "Yeah, I'm going to cancel that," because I didn't want to go back. Once I'd been locked up, I didn't want to return, so I stopped and I started doing. I still was drinking and everything, but I didn't commit any crimes. I didn't want to go back because I got into that identity theft so bad that I didn't even realize who I was, because I made up this fake life, and I would just do it. It took about 9 months of rehab just to break the cycle of compulsive lying and storytelling.
Yes, sir.
About everything and stuff. So yeah, but if I could be of any assistance on that, I've been wanting to try to meet up with people like yourself that
well, man,
done a complete 180.
Yeah, are you on your cell phone now? I guess.
Yes, sir.
So hey, I would love, and I truly mean this. I would love if you could, just start calling into the show. We can talk. I'd like to know.
Yes,
I'd like to know a lot more about, the work you do, the lessons you've learned. Like me, for example, when I got out, I was a lot like you. I went back, started committing crime again. Absolutely, I did. Except where you didn't stop,
I kept going. On Insider, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it took a while for me to get that, and these days, I live by this thing of just do the right damn thing, and I mean that.
Right, me too.
And talking to you right now, I think that if you don't mind, I'd love to have you keep calling to the show. We can talk and get your viewpoints on things.
I definitely
everything like that.
And is it going to be the same day, same time frame?
Times for the show are Wednesdays and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central. Okay. And I'd love for
Saturdays are good.
Okay. Anytime you want to call in, man, just send me a text, comment on the show, everything else that you want to come on, bring you right on to that point in time. If you don't mind, if you're able to have the video on your camera too, I guess people like to look at my
ugly face. Video on that. So I'm not hiding from anybody, and I'm good with that. But I just want to make sure that WhatsApp number is good, because when I first called, it said subscribers not taking calls.
I'll have to. Maybe it's my WhatsApp setting or something. I have no idea. I'll check that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's what I was going to mention. It probably is blocking unknown.
Probably.
If it doesn't know the person's name,
right,
then it'll block it.
Yeah, with me, I've got this. I've been an Android guy for over a decade, and I switched over to iPhone, and I hate the damn thing. I truly do.
I don't like iPhones either. Ever since I've done tech support,
right,
on that, I like, but I also do like virus removal, scams, and all that stuff. I got into that with Geek Squad to help people. Sweet. Yeah, and I do it as to my friends to help them out, because I don't want nobody to get scammed on that, because I can just tell them. They always ask me, "Hey, is this a scam?" And I tell them, "Yeah, that's definitely a scam, dude. Like, don't do it.
Don't do it."
And I feel like I'm giving back a little bit from all I've taken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of all those poor victims that I scammed on, like
you still feel, with me, it's I got arrested 2006, got out, served 7.5 is what I served, and even today, man, I mean, I'm to the point where I'm starting to forgive myself, but man, I wake up and it's like, I've done a lot of damage in my life, and I didn't know if you had those same type of feelings or not.
Exactly the same thing. But when I went to rehab, I had to honestly look at it all and then talk to someone right about it. Yeah. And then I actually called a lot of the institutions that I did scam, the jewelry stores, the dealerships where I bought cars, and then told them, my story. And then one of the jewelry store places in San Francisco was said he had a family member or one of their kids who were into the drugs and the gambling issues, and he said that to come into the store and buy something, and then that would clear the slate on that. That's one where I bought two a men's and women's presidential Rolex for $30,000. This is like a '93.
Yeah,
and I gave him a cashier's check But I wanted to make it right, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? They already wrote it off, but I still wanted to do something." And a lot of the places they don't have records of it because it was so long ago,
right,
and stuff. But I know I did it, and I didn't get charged with it. But I took a deal, and I got 3 years with halftime.
Okay,
since it was my first offense ever that they caught me with. But I can understand when you were talking about it. I was driving around with stolen cars, and my daughter was a newborn, and I was just being a complete menace to my family. And now she sees me being sober. She's like 30-something, and we have a great relationship. And my family, they don't see me as a criminal anymore. And they're just like, I'm just like one of the family again.
There
So
you go.
that's
There you go.
awesome.
Well, David, I want you to know, man, I'm proud of you. I respect what you're doing right now. And like I said, I want you to keep coming to the show. All right.
Oh, yes, sir. I definitely. Sorry for the mix-up on that.
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. I'll get all that fixed. I mean, this is the launch show. Expect technical difficulties. You know, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I do tech support for years, and I do that for. It's crazy. What I'm doing now is what I was been doing years ago. And yeah, I just want to help anybody that any kind of scams that come up, and just to let them know that hey, this is not a good idea. Don't send money electronically.
Right. Well, brother, I'm gonna get off here and see if we got any more calls coming in. But please come back. All right.
I will. I'm gonna continue watching the show. Thank you.
All right, my man. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
You too.
Yes, we actually had someone call in. I didn't know if we would or not. I got to be honest with you. I didn't know if we would or not. David sounds like he's a really good guy. You know, dude ran cashier's checks. So what people do, and I don't really talk about it, what people don't know is that the way I got caught was running cashier's checks. I had a Bank of America that I had copied. I went and got one of those imprinters, you know, where you can put the dollar amount on there because I figured that make it look real. And for the, to make it look perforated like it had been torn off a sheet, I took a little X-Acto knife and I dot the top of the check for make it look perforated. And what I would do is I would go on eBay, find someone selling a coin collection or something like that, and I would take them off platform, send them a direct message, take them off platform, offered to buy the item, whatever they listed it for sale. I would offer to buy the item as COD, collect on delivery, which would mean that UPS or FedEx would bring that item and I would hand them this counterfeit cashier's check and I would walk away with the coin collection or whatever. I had a gentleman in Charleston, South Carolina, where I was living at that time, and he was a coin dealer. So and he knew what I was doing. Every collection that I brought in, I would just take directly to him and he would give cash and then he would, make it look like he owned the damn thing. I got caught doing that. David here was running cashier's checks, identity theft, all of that as well. And, 25 years sober, 25 years sober. That's impressive. And it's also impressive that, he's turned his life around. That's what we need to understand. I talking to a girl now and worried about, she's a small town girl and she's worried about, well, what is the community going to think of you? What's my mom? Even worse, what's my mom going to think when she Googles you? And my thing was, hey, yeah, I did all that stuff, but look what I'm doing now. I'm able to, I've not been to Quantico in a couple of years. I'm going to go back there and lecture at the CISO Academy. Hopefully I consult with companies across the planet. I talk to victims frequently, almost weekly, and help them. And I give advice on how to protect against attackers. That's what I do. Let's check the comments, see if there's anything coming in here. All right. There's a link to join. If anyone wants to join the show, the link is up top. Just press on that, and I hope that you will pop on in, and then we can go from there. All right. Michael Semester, I'm driving to take a pottery class at the moment, so I'm not going to call in, but I will definitely call in on the next one. That's a deal, dude. I want to talk about my homeschool scam as a theory. I know, and I'm looking forward to that. Travis Baker, Brett, will you drop the phone number in the chat? I absolutely, Travis. 850-797-0155. Call in now. Wow, that sounds pretty good to say it. Call in now. There we go. Phone number's in the chat. Anybody wants to call, go right ahead. Michael Semester, what do we do with the phone numbers and the phone calls when we get some real people trying to get us to go on a crypto ATM? For example, when someone calls impersonating a police officer and they're a real person, we've got a real criminal on the phone. Who do we call and how do we track this person down? Or do we just hang up and move on with our lives? Because that doesn't seem like it's solving any problems, especially if they've called someone who knows what's going on. That is an excellent point. So, what happens when you get that spoofed number from the sheriff's office? First of all, you see it on your phone, so you're worried. All right. Why is the sheriff calling me? I mean, I know why the sheriff would be calling me back in the day, and it was not going to be good for me. But why is the sheriff calling? So you pick up that phone already somewhat, even if you've not done anything, you pick up that phone somewhat apprehensive. What's wrong? Now, in order for me to victimize you, I have to get you to trust me. If you don't trust me, you're not going to give me what? Information, access, data, or cash. That's what all attackers, whether a criminal, nation state hacker, whatever, they're looking for information, access, data, cash. What you're doing when you see that spoof number on that device, you're already apprehensive. Your emotion is already kicking in over top of whatever reason, rationale, logic that's going there. As an attacker, that's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting you to react emotionally. Okay? So understand that. Trust online or through an event like this is established through technology, tools, and then social engineering. Technology, this phone, your laptop, your desktop, the websites you go to, the hardware, the software we use. We inherently trust that technology. We trust this thing. Hell, we a lot of us, like me, run our lives through a horrible Apple device. But we inherently trust that. Attackers, criminals, use a variety of tools to manipulate that technology. They'll use a proxy address. So they may be located like I am in Alabama, but they can make it look like they're in Utah or in Brazil, wherever they want to make it appear. They use spoof phone calls so that you don't see the phone number that they're calling from. You see the phone number of that sheriff's office. That starts to lay a base level of trust. Okay. Sometimes that's enough, but it lays a base level of trust. And then what happens is the person in this phone instance, the person comes in. All right. And we see how good of a social engineer that person is in manipulating you to give up information, access, data, cash. So what is a social engineer? And I know there's tons of people on LinkedIn who fancy themselves, I'm a white hat or a gray hat social engineer. And I'm looking at them like, you really don't know what you are talking about. All right. A social engineer is a fancy PC friendly tech term for a con man, a liar, but a manipulator. Okay. That's all that is. That's all. And even today, I'm running a social engineering event, I guess you could say, in Perry County, Kentucky. I'm absolutely doing that. Anybody that follows the Brett Johnson show right now, you can see really one of the best social engineers on the planet conducting business, because there's a lot of corruption in the county. A crime happened about 2 weeks ago. I was asked to assist on that by a person who lives in that area, and I'm being very effective with what's going on. I also social engineered the United States Secret Service at one point. So I'm very adept in that. And I can tell you that anyone who claims they are a white hat or a gray hat social engineer, really, they don't get it. They don't get it. What I'm doing as an attacker, I need you to trust me. I need you to react in a way that I want you to, but not realize that you've been manipulated. Because once you realize it, see, my success as an attacker takes place from the time I interact with you. Hold on just a second. Travis, are you there?
Yeah, hey Brad, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Let me see. I hate this Apple device. I mean, with a passion. With a passion. Let me explain real quick on social engineering. Then we'll talk to you in just a second. What I was saying is that I need you to react in a way that you don't know you're reacting, and it's in that gap from the time that I manipulate you to the time that you discover that I've manipulated you. That gap in between there is where I find success. All right. We'll continue talking about that in just a second. Let's see what Travis has got going on. Travis, how are you, man?
Hey, good, Brad. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So what's going on?
So, I also was a former fraudster and cyber criminal.
Okay.
About 4 years ago, I had my house raided.
Oh.
And haven't done it anymore.
Well, I would say that would be a wake-up call.
Yeah. But I wanted to talk about how I think one of the biggest misconceptions, I primarily did a lot of like credential stuffing attacks, as well as just general identity fraud, loans, phones, kind of stuff like that. Right. But I think one of the misconceptions is most people don't understand being able to pull up anybody's information. You know, we see these database dumps and it's like new social security numbers leaked.
Right.
You can really find anything, all like within 5 minutes and $10.
I mean, you're right. I mean, everyone's information is available, period. You know, and it's not horribly expensive. I've got in my presentation, I pull up the where I've bought the social and date of birth of Trump, you know, and that usually gets people's attention. But you're right. I mean, people don't understand how easy that is to pull background check, to get dates of birth, socials, just enough information. Driver's license numbers, everything else. So, hey, man, so they raided you. How long ago did they raid you?
Almost 4 years ago to today.
Okay. So
it was May 24th of 22.
So when you say raided, bust down the door?
No, actually, it was really nice of them. I actually thanked them for it.
Okay.
9 o'clock in the morning, and they used an intercom.
That's not bad.
It was state police.
Okay.
God.
Okay. The reason I ask is I've served time with a buddy. He was a meth guy, and he knew he was about to be raided. So, you know, meth people, they go kind of nutty the more you use meth. He had taken bungee cords and bungee cord his front door. All right. So when they do the raid, you know, they got the battering ram. They come in, they hit the battering ram on the door. The door comes off the frame, right? The bungee cords catch it, and it just keeps going in and out the more they hit it. And they finally had to take down a wall to get to the guy, is what happened. So anytime I hear raid, and you know, I've got friends in the FBI, and one of them was telling me about, you know, what we typically do. And that's why I was asking. He said, what we typically do is, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll come up to the door, knock, count to 3. And if it's not answered, we bust the door in. So I didn't know what had happened with you.
I asked them, I said, hey, why didn't you kick it down? And they're like, we didn't see you that much of a physical threat. Normally for the fraudster guys, we'll just kind of.
Yeah, we are not a threatening lot, you know, we're really not. So how much time did you serve time or not?
Man, I'm more blessed by God than I deserve.
All right. Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right.
They hit me with 29 felonies, but then the case was scratched for up to 7 years.
Okay.
Came back a year and a half later, which I was also doing a lot of meth for a long time. I got careless because I wasn't happy with my life, you know?
I understand. I mean, that is a drug that will make you feel better. Absolutely. You know, as long, at first. It wasn't
drugs. It was trying to get money.
Right.
Trying to find happiness outside of myself, basically. You know?
Yeah. What are you doing now, man?
I'm actually a group facilitator in a rehab. I've been doing it for about 3 years.
Dude, all right. Do you have any?
But to answer.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I got 6 months county jail.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 months county.
County's hard time.
A lot of restitution, but.
Yeah. I mean, county's hard time.
I had a lot of fun.
You know. So, you know, you turned your life around. You're taking care of people now. Are you off drugs? So you're clean. And I mean, people don't understand. And I've had friends that use meth, and people don't understand the attraction of that and how hard it is to give that up. Not only that, but when it occurred to me, when it really hit with me that I wasn't going to commit crime anymore, man, I felt empty. I mean, I truly did. I felt absolutely empty at that point. I don't know if you felt that or not, but a lot of respect for you.
To this day, I'm teaching classes in a rehab, and the drugs, I'm good. I can't actually justify wanting to go back.
Right.
And I think even especially that first year, there was still some kind of easy justification to be like, well, it's money.
Sure.
I can't say, you know what, let's get back in. Let's open a bank account in someone's name. Let's go wreak havoc. But even just sitting there with saying, well, we could do some kind of simple refund fraud or chargeback is super justifiable.
Yeah.
It's the banks. And it's so easy to justify doing something wrong and saying, well, it's the banks who's paying for it and things like this, that I had to be really mindful. I didn't own a computer for that first year, didn't shop online for that first year, just to make sure that I didn't have that temptation, because that was, and still in many ways is, more addicting than the meth itself.
Sure. I mean, I know that. I mean, even today, dude, I've been on the good side for a solid 10, and I'll go on Telegram and I'll see the list of stores that you can refund from. And I'm like, man can make some quick money, and here's the thing, I'm going through a divorce. I don't have any money right now. And I'm like, a man could make some quick money there. But so I know that temptation. I do. And I want you to know that I'm damn proud of you turning things around. I truly am.
Thank you, man. It's funny. I've listened to you in active addiction, trying to always get pointers.
Right.
And I followed. Sorry, but there's some truth to it.
No, I got people coming in. How do I get bins? What can I do? And I'm like, no, dude, no.
I'm not doing that anymore. But and throughout that first year and time and a half, I'd listened to you. You had a podcast on when you were in prison. They talked about the CBT classes for like the RDAP program and everything.
Right.
And so you've helped me a lot in my recovery too.
Dude, I appreciate
you, man. You've been
hey, anything I can do, man. You got my number. This is my Google Voice number, but it comes right to the cell phone. So anytime you want to call in the show, anything else like that, I appreciate it. I want to hear from you. Make sure you're doing all right. Anything I can do for you, I absolutely will. I mean that.
Right on, Brett. Thanks, man.
Thank you, brother. Take care now. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
I got to tell you, I like 2 phone calls. I was like, man, I hope we get at least 1 person calling in. So we've had 2, and 2 people that have turned their lives around. Travis there, he was talking about, if you've not done it, you don't know how addicting online crime is. All right. You go on Telegram. Michael is a great man. Michael Semester. He's listening right now. He's a great man, and he's aware. He's not a criminal. He runs a pottery factory, and he's just an outstanding human being. But he was getting ripped off, and since that point in time, he's dove into all these criminal things that are going on. He's an outstanding man. Unless you've done like refunding fraud. Refunding fraud is where you'll buy something from Amazon. Amazon will ship it to you. You'll get it. And then one of 4 things. You'll say, hey, I didn't get it. And Amazon will ship you another. If you want to know why Amazon takes pictures of packages on porches, it's because of refunding fraud. So Amazon will ship you another one. Okay. Or they'll give you a refund. So you can say you didn't get it. Or you can say, well, the box is here. I mean, the box is there, but it's not in the box. Yeah, I got the box, but it's not in the box. So they'll send you another one or give you a refund. Or you can say you want to return it, and it's called FTID, fake tracking identification. So you can say you want to return it, and then you can manipulate that shipping label and send it back with some plastic frogs, or send it to someplace else in the zip code, or any number of things that makes it appear in that store's system that they've received that item back They give you the money, but they've not got the item. Or, as Travis pointed out, chargebacks. Chargebacks. There was one point when I was legal and they were justified chargebacks. I would make a list. I bank with Wells Fargo because I believe one criminal deserves another. I would have a list of chargebacks, not as described, not as described, not as described. And I'd call Wells once a month with my list. All right. Criminals, chargeback fraud, man, that's profitable. So you buy an item off of eBay or through PayPal or what have you, or just a retail item, and you say the merchant sold you the item, but it's not as described. Using a credit card, usually what's going to happen is they will, or bank, your debit card, they will credit you back those funds. All right. So you get to keep the item, you get your money back. Now, what happens is there's an investigation. A lot of larger retail merchants, they don't respond to that. So you get away with that, and you don't have to close that. But if you monitor some of these Telegram channels that are going on, they are well aware that some of these merchants, they do the investigation, they fight the chargeback, and they want their money back. The bank at that point will try to claw the money back. So what you'll see on Telegram is you'll see alerts of banks which are starting to call, or retail merchants which are starting to try to claw the money back. So what will happen is the criminal will run down to his bank account, shut it down so they can't get my money out. Shut it down, take the money, go open up another bank account. That's part of what goes on. Let's check our messages. And we are going to close the show out here fairly soon. Let's see. Linux-based Eskimo. Me too. Exacto. I know. You can take that Exacto and makes it look perforated. Let's see. 23, almost 24. Let's see. Fear, greed, right? Selling trust. Yeah, we were talking about that trust, that phone call that comes in that Michael's talking about. So you're already apprehensive. You're already emotional. The spoof number showing the sheriff's address, you're thinking it is the sheriff. So it opens that door of trust. And that's when me, that manipulator, that social engineer, walks in. All right. So I've already got you somewhat groomed for what's about to happen. And what's about to happen, it could be any number of things. I could say, yeah, my name is Detective James T. Lasky down here at the Kentucky State Police. Look, we're running an identity theft investigation. Turns out that now you're in Kentucky. All right, so it turns out that your social security number has been used multiple times in a chicken farm up in Arkansas. Now we would like to, verify that you've not given out your social at all. Can I get the last 4 digits of your social security number? Now you're not giving the whole social. You're asking for the last 4. Depending, and that's a bullshit call. I know that no one would fall for would think that was real, but gives you an idea of how it should work. The way I'll give you an idea of how I actually would do something back when I was a criminal. Still works to a degree. I would go on the marketplace. I would buy someone's identity. That identity typically would run me $30. All right. I would buy someone's identity. And when I say identity, that was a complete background check, social, mother's maiden name, maybe some banking information attached to that. If I couldn't find that, I would want banking information. All right. Because I need to know where they bank. I'd buy a credit card, then I'd buy that person's identity. All right. From there, I'm going to call the issuing bank of that credit or debit card. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in to customer service and I'm going to ask what my available balance on the account is. That's the only question I'm going to ask. They're typically going to ask me 2 questions. One of those questions is mother's maiden name. I know the correct mother's maiden name, but I'm going to miss it on purpose. I'm going to say any other name, but with confidence. Johnson. And they're going to say, that's not what we've got here. And I'm going to say, well, what have you got? Sir, we're not going to tell you what we've got. And I'm going to get a little angry at that point. Well, look, I don't know what you got, but I know what my mom's name is. What are you people even doing? So at that point, they were trained to ask 2 more security questions, which I would have the answer to. Once I answer those, they change the mother's maiden name to whatever I want them to change it to. They give me the available balance, and as they go to hang up, I ask them, oh, by the way, can you update my phone number that's on file? And I would, at that point, change the phone number. Because if I control the phone, I control the account. And that matters. Now, why does that work? Technology, tools, social engineering. It works because that customer service agent, they inherently trust that the phone number coming in is that actual phone number. They trust the hardware in front of them. They trust the software that they're using. They trust the number that's coming in. Okay, technology. They don't realize that I'm using a spoof phone call, a tool to manipulate that number that's coming in. They don't realize that I'm using a stolen identity, to me, a tool to gain more trust so I can access the account and profit. All right. So the door of trust is open. At that point is when social engineering kicks in. At that point, I ask just available balance. That's not the reason of the call, but it gives me an in. I ask for available balance. I miss a question on purpose because it allows me to establish rapport with that potential victim, the customer service agent. I establish rapport. There's a problem, but we together fix that problem. There's 2 more security questions. So it layers trust even more at that point. Now, that customer service agent may get 100, 200 calls a day. Mentally, they have disconnected. Once they fix the mother's maiden name, once they tell me the available balance, they've mentally disconnected from this event, and they're looking forward already to the next call that's coming in, or maybe even waiting on them. All right. So they're mentally disconnected. When that happens is when I do the ask. Oh, by the way, can you update my phone number that's on file? Okay. They do that. Now, how successful is that, or was that? It's so successful that I have been asked many times, well, why are you updating phone number on file? Well, I'm updating it because I no longer have that number. I no longer have the number that's on the screen in front of them. That's how effective. That's social engineering. That's how that works. That's how trust is established. So you get one of these crypto schemes coming in. One of the text messages that says, you've charged this, or someone's trying to access your bank account, whatever. That causes the emotion to raise, the apprehension, whatever, starts to layer trust, gets you to react more emotionally than logically and reasonably, comes in, social engineer you into thinking that you're going to be rich on crypto, which I'm staunchly against that. Awesome. First show listening. Randy, hey, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to come in. The phone number here, if anybody wants to call, we're going to end this show in just a minute. Phone number is 850-797-0155. My name is Brett Johnson, former United States most wanted cyber criminal. Nothing to be proud of, but I'll tell you, it does speak to the amount of knowledge that's here and, the credibility of what I'm speaking of. It absolutely does that. And now I'm on the good guy side of things, and I'm adamant about protecting people and businesses from that type of attacker that I used to be. I want to leave you with this because this is the intro show. We've talked about establishing trust. We've talked about why, it's never a single attacker which seeks to victimize you. They can't do it, or they're in a geographic location where they cannot fulfill one of the 3 necessities of gathering data, committing the crime, or cashing out. And typically that geographic area has to do more with cashing out than the other 2 necessities. All right. What do criminals look for? Information, access, data, cash. Who are the criminals? There's only really, I think it's 7 different types. There's criminals like I used to be. There's nation states, terrorist, activist. There are insiders, hackers for hire, and then script kiddies. Those are the 7 different types. Okay, that's it. That's it. If you can look at the types, criminals, what do we look for? We look to profit, cash. Nation states, well, it's ideological, except if you're North Korea, then 1/3 of their nuclear program is financed through cybercrime, China ideology, but they steal a lot of IP, so they're looking for profit as well. Terrorist ideology, hacktivist ideology. Except, I know some of the anonymous people that started it, and they figured out pretty quick. Well, ideology does not put food on the table or gas in the car, so they had to do something else as well. Insiders can be, they're mad at the company. They're not making enough money. They've got medical bills that they can't pay, what have you. The difference between insiders back when I was a criminal to today. When I was a criminal, we had to go and find a potential insider, try to groom them, and then turn them to giving us access somehow. That was more difficult. These days, what you see is you'll see an individual get a job with the idea of committing fraud immediately. And those insiders will typically come over to Telegram or another forum, and they will say, hey, I work at X company. I've got access to this. How can we make money? So that's the insider game today. Insider fraud, for that to happen, is a combination of pressure. That employee is feeling some sort of pressure. They need money. They're afraid they're going to be laid off, whatever. Got a lot of layoffs these days. It's a combination of pressure, opportunity. They have to have the opportunity to commit that crime. And then finally, justification. That matters. This idea that all criminals are sociopaths is not correct. I don't know if I am or not. I don't think that I am. All right. Most criminals, they have to justify their crime. They have to be able to look in the mirror and say, at the end of the day, I'm a good guy. So, it's not that they don't know the difference between right and wrong. They do. And then they have that cognitive dissonance that tries to justify or rationalize the crime. So pressure, opportunity, justification. That's the Creasy fraud triangle. So insiders, that's that. Hackers for hire, that's profit. And then script kiddie. So script kiddie is someone who has absolutely no skill whatsoever, and they buy everything off the shelf, which today, when I was a criminal, you had to know what you were talking about. You had to know how the crime worked, the dynamics of it, the dynamics of security, of how to make fake IDs, run drop addresses, laundry. You had to know everything. These days, you don't have to know anything. And that's one of the reasons cybercrime is the third largest economy on the planet. You don't got to know anything. So you can you go to Telegram. So you get a flood, you get a hurricane come through, fire, whatever. You can go to Telegram for $15. You can buy the FEMA answers that will get you, the immediate $1,000 relief. And then I think it's $42,000 maximum for FEMA relief right now. So you get all the answers for $15 that you need to fill in to get that money, for FEMA money. You can take live instruction classes, $300 up to $3,000. I helped the FBI arrest 300 fraudsters in 24, and RN was paying for one of those classes. And I was the guy that sat through the damn refunding class that Noir, ran, and I buddied up with him and everything else. And at the end of the day, they arrested 300 people. Oh, good. Very nice. So you can take live instruction classes. You don't even have to do that. You can simply sit on the platform and soak up the knowledge. Ask questions. Someone will reach out to you and walk you through that. A vendor, if you want to buy stolen credit cards, he might, give you some advice on that as well. So that's the game now. You don't have to have any skill or any understanding of what's going on. It's off-the-shelf products, tools, and services. And that is one of the reasons that cybercrime is the third largest economy on the planet. My name is Brett Johnson. This is Cybercrime 101. This is our premiere show. There have been a couple of technical difficulties. I was supposed to stream to YouTube. I've got a Cybercrime 101 channel and a Brett Johnson channel over on YouTube. For some reason, StreamYard did not want to stream to the Cybercrime 101 channel. It streamed to the Brett Johnson Show channel. So I will upload the show on that, and I will figure out what the devil is going on between StreamYard and the Cybercrime 101 channel and fix that by Saturday. Also, we'll have some more platforms to be able to call in and do everything. Michael Smister, we're going to end with this. We have to talk about the chair company. I think that you really need to watch. Dude, I've got it. I've got it on Plex. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I've got it. And I will watch it. I've been trying to get the show up, man. This morning I woke up at 5 o'clock. I had to, I'm going through a divorce. Had to go down and get one of my pups. That's at my soon-to-be ex-wife's house. And I miss my dogs, man. I got a little pup here, and he's great. But I had 2 pups there, and going through this divorce, and I mean, they were my animals, and I was their person, and having to give away one of them because my soon-to-be ex-wife, she's got to sell the house. Guess she's got her a beau already, which is good. I'm damn happy for her. I am. I want her to be happy. We were not happy together. We were not. We weren't. And it's just sad that you see everything that's being lost. And the animals are being split up, having to give one away, and it was just sad. So I said, picked up a little guy this morning at about 6 o'clock and dropped him off because of people that are taking him. They have a good home for him. But it's Benny, my Chihuahua, that I made a post when we first got him that, hey, I'm not getting the little guy neutered. I want him to be energetic. Well, he's energetic, and the people who are taking him in, they wanted him neutered. So took him in, they gave him neutered, and then running the show. So yes, that's not cybercrime. Maybe I shouldn't have shared that on the show, but yeah. Michael, the North Korean weapons program was also funded in part by businesses registered as LLCs. I want you to call in Saturday, dude, if you can, and we can talk about some of that stuff. This is a call-in show. We're here to educate about how cybercrime, identity theft, scams, fraud. We're here to educate how that happens, to talk through it, to learn. I'll be learning. You guys will be learning at the same time. I've got a lot of knowledge, but it's not like I don't learn things. I look every day to learn more. So we're going to talk through that. If you're experiencing some of this, you have a friend, you've been ripped off in the past, whatever, come on the show. Let's talk about it. All right. Give answers on how to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your business. That's what this show is about. You, the listener, are going to drive the content. Yeah, I'll open up the show and I'll talk about how a scam works or something that I've done in the past or something that's been being done right now, and I'll walk through that. But that show will absolutely be guided by the comments, by the emails, by the direct messages on these platforms, by calling in, by remoting in and coming on the show. Whatever you want to do, I want to talk about these things. All right. The one gentleman called in, Travis, and he said, I used to listen to you when I was a criminal to get tips. Yeah, that happens. So what? So what? I've had people try to criticize. Well, you're giving information that criminals use it. And it's not like they couldn't get it elsewhere. So what? What I'm really doing is I'm giving the good guys that don't know what the hell's going on a lot of the time, I'm giving them good information that they can use. So if you're in fraud prevention, you're in law enforcement, I love you both. I love you. Cybersecurity, I love you guys. I absolutely love you. But there's a lot of people that don't get it. They don't get it. They come out of school and those book learning is not the same as on the street. It don't work that way. It does not work that way. All right. So we're here to raise awareness, to educate, to help protect, to explain, and to maybe do it in an entertaining manner. We'll see if it's entertaining or not. All right. I know we had 2 calls today, and I got to tell you, those guys, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. It's very difficult to give up that ghost, especially like, you go on Teller MC refunding fraud, you see what these people are buying. You're having trouble with the car payment, or you don't have a car, or you're having trouble putting some food on the plate because you got laid off, and you start doing this. And when you start at it, first time, you're very scared. Man, are you stressed, nervous? I'm going to get caught, everything else. You get away with it. And you get away with the next one. You get away with the next one. And it becomes a habit after a while. And then, you're in this community where you met everyone. Everyone's doing the same thing. They're talking about the money they're making, how much fun it is. And anybody that tells you Anybody says, it was not fun breaking the law, they're lying to you. They're lying to you because they want you to think that, it was this horrible thing where I regretted every second. No, you didn't. Yes, you had fun. You did. Because you got all this money, you were able to do whatever you wanted to. You're screwing over billion-dollar companies, and your man is like, yeah, man, I'm the man. That's what happens. And you're in a community environment, a closed system, an echo chamber. You're in there with these people saying, yeah, we're good, man. We're not going to get caught. They can't arrest us all. Blah, 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 blah. And it becomes very addicting. It feeds that ego. It becomes very addicting. And you become very good at it after a while. So to be able, like Travis, to be able to step away from that, to give up that addiction. He didn't touch a computer for a year, to try to break from that. It's a hard thing to give up the ghost of that. And we need to be aware of that, as a lot of children are entering into these environments. So that 300 that I talked about in 2024, FBI identified 2 kids that were running Telegram refund channels, ages 9 and 10. So we need to make sure that we understand what's going on. One more comment. We're going to go. Crime pays until the taxes are due. That is about 160% plus sales tax. I meant to mention that on my other show today. I'm raising hell with a bunch of corrupt people in Kentucky on the other show. But what a lot of people don't know is that when you make money, when you steal money, when you're doing illegal things to get money, you got to pay taxes on that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I was caught in prison, and the IRS informs me that I owe them taxes on all of that money that I had stolen. And I had not filed. They filed for me. So I'm like, well, what do you mean? Yeah, if you're a criminal, you are required to pay taxes on your criminal enterprise. You want to know why Al Capone was arrested? He did not file taxes on all that crime that he was committing. So yeah, taxes matter. All right. Linux-based Eskimo. Thanks, Travis. I'm 23 years clean and sober. Man, I got to tell you guys, I am absolutely proud of you both. I truly am. I'm proud of you both. My name is Brett Johnson. This is Cybercrime 101. Yeah, we're going to learn all kinds of things. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you guys what, maybe next time we'll go on, they talked about meth today. Maybe next time we'll go over to Drug Hub, show you how that trust mechanism works. We'll start the show out with that. Talk some more about motivations of attackers, your place in the cybercrime spectrum, what have you. You guys run the show, though. My name is Brett Johnson. This is Cybercrime 101, the launch episode. It's a little like, okay, we got to get used to this. This is a new thing going on. So it's a little awkward, but I think it's a good show. I think we're going to do some good stuff. Saturday, 10 a.m. Central is the next show, streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Until next time, I'm going to say the same thing on the other show. I'm going to say the same thing today. Until next time, just do the right damn thing. Take care.